If you had to ignore for a second all the problems of the world, the crime, the politics, the general peril of everyday living, and of course the ongoing debate surrounding climate change, you may notice that we live on a pretty interesting planet, filled with the natural beauties that are far better to look at than the next Excel report you have to do. Well, look no further for your next travel plans as we explore the most amazing waterfalls in the world. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out which waterfall is actually made up of 275 individual falls. Number 10. Iligan, the city of majestic waterfalls. Here, we are not looking at one particular waterfall, but rather a collection of them, 23 to be exact. Situated in the Philippines, Iligan is actually one of the largest industrial cities in the south of the Philippines, not a trait typically shared with nature and waterfalls. Luckily, not far outside the city lie steep volcanic mountains and the amazing waterfalls and springs that grant the city the name, the City of Majestic Waterfalls. The most famous of these waterfalls are the Maria Cristina Falls on the Agus River, also known as the Twin Falls, due to there being two separate torrents of water falling down the cliff face with a rocky outcrop splitting it up into two at the top. The Tinago Falls is another one of the main attractions in the area, known for its pool at the bottom, which is perfect for swimming after a day spent taking in all that the area has to offer. All in all, it definitely deserves a spot on this list, if not for its sheer beauty and greenery, then simply for quantity. Number 9. Gala Falls, South Africa. South Africa is already well known for its picturesque scenery and amazing wildlife that draw amateur and experienced photographers alike to its borders. One such attraction is the Gala Falls deep in the amazing Drakensberg Mountains. These falls are the tallest in Africa and are ranked second tallest in the world at over 3,100 feet tall. Gala, in the local dialect, means startling one. And it's a fitting name for the falls, if not just for the sheer drops down the cliff face, then for the incredible views that greet you from atop the falls. There are 3 different trails you can take to see the falls. The first of these is best suited to more experienced hikers and takes you on a trail up to the summit of Monarch Sources. This trail is relatively short, but requires you to climb 2 chain ladders, which may be a bit daunting to new climbers. The second trip is considerably longer, with a 14-mile hike over relatively easy terrain, which takes you along the river to the escarpment of the falls. The last of these is a short hike of only 4.5 miles and has a few river crossings as well as a small chain ladder before reaching the summit and experiencing the amazing views of water falling down the mountainside. Number 8. The Fang Colorado. This waterfall is different from any other on the list because while it is also seasonal, like most others, it's not famous for its refreshing lagoon at the bottom or its beautiful scenery. In fact, during the summer, it is a perfectly average waterfall that doesn't get too much more attention than it deserves. It's actually the cold winter months that attract people to this fall, or more specifically, to the perfect pillar of ice that it becomes each winter. What makes the Fang so special is that it is a plunge waterfall, meaning it flows very fast, free falling into the water below, and it doesn't touch any rock on its entire trip down, which are very rare traits to find. When winter comes around, the Fang freezes into a perfect 165-foot tall pillar of freestanding ice, making it an epic challenge for any ice climbers willing to take it on. Number 7. Havasu Falls, Arizona. If you had to ask someone what was the biggest attraction Arizona has to offer, they would probably respond, it is the Grand Canyon. Known worldwide for its awe-inspiring size, it's well-deserving of all of its attention. Did you know, however, that deep within the canyon there is an oasis? A beautiful and magical hidden gem that only the tough can ever experience. Deep within the Grand Canyon lies the Native American Havasupai tribe and the truly amazing Havasu Falls. While they're not the widest or the tallest falls in the world, they do require some incredible effort and it's well worth the reward. Unfortunately, the falls have grown in popularity, making it increasingly difficult to book a night at the lodge that lies at the base of the canyon. That may not sound so bad to some, who might consider making the 20-mile round-trip hike in one day. However, this hike takes place under the sweltering Arizona heat, and while it's a simple enough trail, it's a long and hot hike all the way down into the deep canyon. Persevere through the heat though, and you are rewarded with one of the most amazing sights you will ever lay your eyes on: the Havasu Falls. With incredible blue-green waters in the rivers and the lush, thriving greenery along the riverbed, it's a magical sight and definitely well worth the long, hot walk that it takes to get there. So, would you take the 10-mile hike to see the falls? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Number 6. Langfossen Falls, Norway. Norway is already one location that any nature enthusiast should want to visit. With beautiful mountain ranges and enough green to make your head spin, it also contains city and river names that are really only pronounceable to the locals and not really anybody else. Norway is also considered the world's capital for waterfalls and contains 9 of the 20 tallest waterfalls in the world, making it quite difficult to choose the best among them. That is, unless you know about the Langfossen Falls. Situated on the side of an unpronounceable mountain, well, by me anyway, it has been named one of the most beautiful waterfalls in the world in 2011, and it has rightfully obtained that spot. Perhaps one of the best things about this particular waterfall is its ease of access. That is because there is a road running right across the bottom of the falls, making it easy to find and more than well worth the visit. With no long and strenuous hikes to weed out the weak before reaching them, there are also boardwalks and picnic spots along the side of the waterfall where you can relax and have lunch while you take in the 250-foot wide fall. If you do eventually get tired of looking at this one waterfall, there are literally hundreds of other falls in the area that you can look at. So instead of just one waterfall, there's a whole country's worth for you to check out. And you're welcome. Number 5. Niagara Falls, New York and Canada. By far one of the most famous waterfalls on Earth, the Niagara Falls are an amazing spectacle that attract busloads of tourists year-round. The Niagara Falls also forms part of the landmarks between Canada and the United States, with the largest of the 3 falls landing exactly on the border. Both of the 2 other falls, the American Falls and the Bridal Veil Fall, reside solely on the American side. While at the falls and taking in the amazing spectacles, you can also check out the Cave of the Winds, an experience that promises to get you closer to the falls than you ever thought possible by taking you 175 feet into the Niagara Gorge, where you can make your way on wooden planks to the hurricane deck. Here you will be within feet of the base of the Bridal Veil Falls and will be surrounded by hurricane-like winds. Should that not quite be to your taste, you can always spend some time in the restaurant at the top of the falls or in the interactive photo gallery. Number 4. Cayuta Falls, Guyana. What is better than combining epic beauty with the fear of potential death? If your answer is not much, then the Cayuta Falls in South America is definitely the destination for you. The beauty side of this entry is, of course, the falls themselves. A spectacle that can be up to 400 feet wide in the rainy season, and it's 820 feet high. It's considered to be one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world due to its massive freefall drop into the river below. Unlike most other waterfalls, it also is extremely private, with tourists being brought to the area by plane before making the hike to the top of the falls. It's an exclusive site, and only a handful of tourists actually go out to experience the unbelievable sights of the falls and the beautiful, untouched forest around it, leaving you in awe of this natural, untouched portion of our globe. On the other hand, there is also the danger I mentioned earlier. When you're making your way to the viewpoint of the falls, the trail passes by the home of the local and minuscule golden frogs. These tiny frogs are poisonous and can be fatal to humans. So the moral of the story? If you take your chances and travel here, keep your mouth closed and your hands to yourself. Number 3. Deadfoss Falls, Iceland. Although Iceland is deceiving in its name, considering any tourist photos you seem to find are always of the greenest landscapes you have ever laid your eyes on, the Deadfoss Falls are not as lush as the area around it. Referred to by locals as the Beast, the Deadfoss sits between extremely rough and rocky terrain, a strange find in the famously green landscapes Icelanders are accustomed to. Spanning 328 feet wide with a 147-foot drop, it is actually the rate at which the water is forced along that makes these falls so intimidating. Pushing an average of 14,000 cubic feet per second, it makes it the most powerful waterfall in Europe and definitely helps to earn the name The Beast. The Deadfoss Falls are quite easily accessible, as the spray from the falls create a rainbow bridge that can clearly be seen from a few hundred feet away, making it even easier to locate. The waterfall itself is not the only attraction in the area, and the gorge surrounding it is also considered one of the most beautiful places in Iceland to hike. Walking along the trails, you will encounter 2 other waterfalls as well as mythical anomalies like the Whispering Rocks and the footprints of Odin's horse. Number 2. Angel Falls, Venezuela. No list of waterfalls will ever be complete without mentioning Angel Falls. Found in Venezuela, it's the undisputed tallest waterfall in the world, and it is an amazing thing to behold. Falling from the total height of 3,230 feet, they are named after the modern legend Jimmy Angel, who found the falls back in 1933 while searching for the fabled McCracken River of Gold. Although it is an amazing spectacle to behold, the falls are only worth a visit for a few months out of the year, with the dry season leaving them barely more than a stream flowing over the top of the mountain. During the months from December to April, however, the falls are flowing at full capacity and become the world-famous waterfall that draws in thousands of tourists from around the world every year. It's also during these months that the falls are so intense that they create their own weather patterns, and the mist from Angel Falls can be felt landing on your arm from up to 3,000 feet away. Number 1. Iguazu Falls, Argentina and Brazil. Unexpectedly, number 1 begins with the wife of America's 26th president, the great people-punching, wild game hunting Theodore Roosevelt, who supposedly said 2 words upon visiting the Iguazu Falls. Those 2 words, you ask? Poor Niagara. Obviously, she was relating how even the formidable Niagara Falls failed in comparison to the astonishing magnificence of the Iguazu Falls. Situated on the border of Argentina and Brazil, the falls are quite unlike any other that you may have experienced. This is evident not just in beauty, but in sheer visits, receiving around 1 million visitors every year. Created by 275 individual waterfalls that span across roughly 1.7 miles of cliff face, it is truly a wonder to behold. On the Argentinian side of the falls, there are rustic boardwalks that lead you through most of the area. The main attraction here, however, is the Garganta del Diablo Falls, or the Devil's Throat. It is made up of a curtain of 14 falls in a horseshoe shape with a drop of around 262 feet into the churning water below. So why not plan a trip and go have your mind blown by the size and awe of these falls? Tell us which ones were your favorites below and take care.